I'm Dirk Biesinger, and we're continuing our author read-aloud of Xavie of Shamain. We're diving into part 10, covering chapter 14. If you're new here and want to stay updated on my writing journey, consider joining my newsletter, the Boreas brief, at the link in the description. Last time, we witnessed Eleanor develop into a headstrong young female. Here is part 10. Chapter 14. Borean youngsters in their 19th year are welcomed to explore their sexuality, starting with the fire festival, if they are so inclined. Curiosity will lead to experimentation in any case. By specifying and allowing a frame, a basis is created for sheltered and responsible experimenting and enjoyment. Boreaspedia, 20th edition, 14th April, 21, 5th epoch. Yellna. It has been 3 days. 3 days of my obligations preventing me from exercising Aurora Dansu or with the staff. I need the flow, the meditative tranquility that going through the motions and forms gives me. I decide to head to the training grounds when I know the older youngsters are there to exercise, mostly. There are always a few adults there as well, but mainly it's the youngsters' time. I don't care or mind. I do mind to get my exercising, so I go. It's a fairly large group. I nod at the elder overseeing the time, training and teaching. He nods back and raises an eyebrow, a question. I shrug my shoulders. My obligations overlap with the regular time, and I want to get some exercise. He nods again, then points me to an area. I walk to the spot indicated. As usual, anything students bring is put into a center spot for every square of 4 exercise mats. They're called mats by convention all over Boreas, even if it's just lines drawn with a stick into the dirt. I deposit my staff and bag in the center area. In my square there are 3 females, youngsters about to be of age. These training times follow the same pattern every time. Some warming up, then going through the base forms of Aurora Dansu multiple times, followed by the base forms of the staff. After this, it's either continuing with the base forms and instructions to refine the form, or it is one-on-one sparring. The student decides what they want to do this session. While we are going through the base forms, I notice there are 3 training helpers here today. 2 are females out of the house of the young, partaking in the education of the youngsters. The surprise, though, is the youngster. He must be exceptionally skilled if he is allowed to train others at that age. Once I recognize him, it makes sense. Xavie. He has been training with a determination and vigor like nobody else, and he started his training nearly 2 years early. Today, I decide on sparring. The elder is scratching his head. Yellna, you're too skilled for any of the students I have here. It would be a very uneven match, but I have an idea. He then turns and shouts, Xavie! And so I'm paired for sparring with Xavie. We start with Aurora Dansu, slowly, politely, getting to know the other and their skill level. It does not take long for our dance to become faster, more assertive, more challenging. Much more challenging. Damn is he good. Fast, strong, measured, and oh so controlled. I have sparred with every adult in this town, and many more all over Boreas, wherever my duties take me. I can hold my own most of the time. But him, that is a different skill level altogether. I know he's holding back. I know he's pushing me to my skill level, but not beyond. There is absolutely no illusion or doubt he could decide a match with 1 or 2 moves anytime, with ease. These sessions on the mat are always a very revealing conversation of sorts. Not verbal, but still, you get to know your partner. There is something about him, about Xavie. I can't put my finger on it. There's a maturity about him much older adults can't muster. The trainer calls for a break, and with absolute control, Xavie guides us with ease to a point we can disengage. Only then do I realize we drew a crowd. Nearly everybody is around our mat, watching. We are handed a water skin each, and we take deep gulps. As sweat-soaked as I am, I feel it even more in my muscles. This was exhilarating. It has been a while since I enjoyed sparring this much. I get out, frequently interrupted by having to pull air into my lungs, still out of breath. He only nods. It does not even look like he is that much out of breath. He looks at me intensely. Those indigo eyes of his always catch me off guard, no matter how often I see them. Then he offers calmly, "Do you want to go another round?" Could he read me this easily? I guess so. Want to switch to the staff? For one, I'm curious if his skill is limited to Aurora Dansu. But also, I know my staff skill is well above average. He nods. I get my staff, assemble it out of the two halves it's broken down to for transport or to carry it in the scabbards. He takes one of the training staffs from the racks and checks to make sure it has no damage that could render it dangerous. These are not bad staffs, the training staffs, but not very good either. They are relatively heavy and do not dampen blows well. We step back onto the mat and the trainer calls the sparring to begin. As before, he is holding back, adjusting to the skill level and intensity I throw at him. As the jabs and slashes get more intense, he even feathers the impact to soften it for me. He's not only holding my level, but making it less straining for me. It's unbelievable, infuriating, like he's toying with me. I go all out, no holding back, no reserve. He matches it easily, with absolute control. When I start to slip in my form because I push this hard, he simply catches it all, like it is not much of an effort for him at all. In a last crescendo, I marshal all the strengths I have left and start raining variations on him as heavy and as varied as I can muster. He parries them all. Then his eyes briefly narrow at me, and he starts to push back with an intensity, a strength, an effortlessness and control I have not seen with anyone. He pushes back and starts stacking me with his offensive. He presses so hard I can just defend myself, barely. He knows exactly how far he can go, how far he can push. He keeps pressing until I have no strength left and falter. When I can't parry anymore, he stops his slash in mid-motion before it can make impact. I know of nobody else capable of that. I'm panting, exhausted, sweaty, and calm on the inside. And curious. There is so much more to this youngster. He is quiet and measured on the outside, far more mature than should be possible for his age, but this is only the first impression. There is so much more. He's got me really intrigued now. We clean up, making sure the area is ready for whomever comes next. As I leave, together with the others and amidst excited giggling, Xavie joins me. "Thank you," he says. "It has been a while since anybody did not hesitate on the mat with me." I stop walking, staring at him. He keeps going for one step, too. Then he stops and turns around, surprise etched on his face. I shake my head, close the gap. "You don't even know how good you are, do you? They don't hesitate." I stop there. Let him figure out the rest. He has a genuinely surprised look on his face now. Humble. He is this good and so humble he doesn't even dwell on it long enough to recognize his own skill. I shake my head. What an unexpected revelation. I leave him standing there and return home. I need to clean up. 29th April, 21, 5th epoch. I'm sitting on the bench in front of the House of the Sages. My class of inductees gets their customary health check-in before the fire festival tomorrow. After all, we want everybody partaking to be able to enjoy and not worry. Also, ensuring folks with ailments of any sort are excluded this time minimizes the probability of epidemic outbreaks. I'm here to make myself available to my inductees, should the need arise. I let the sun warm me and reminisce about the last week. This year, it fell to me to prepare all the youngsters in their 19th year for the Fire Festival, and more so, to explain the rules, the expectations of conduct, and what they can expect in experiences for their first sexual encounters, should they be so inclined to explore. It's the first time for me to conduct this class. The first time experiencing sexuality with a partner is a rite of passage in any culture. The stories among the youngsters about it range from it being the most pleasant, the most carnal, the most satisfying, the most infuriating, the most driving, the most overwhelming, and the most disappointing flood of experiences. While it is interesting to observe how each individual youngster treats their own insecurity and the lack of knowledge about this encounter, this at the same time naturally is a precarious, a valuable, a vulnerable moment in their lives. I certainly do not take this obligation lightly. I keep watching the activities in the town square absent-mindedly. Not much happening at all. Everybody is looking forward to the fire festival tomorrow and is busy with their own preparations. My thoughts drift back. To my chagrin, Elder Salas insisted on inspecting these lessons. Not sure what it is with him, why he is so obtrusive. I have not observed a similar behavior with any of the other elders. If I didn't know better, if it would not be against any and all behavioral conventions, I might have the suspicion he's interested in pursuing a relationship with me. But I have not given any indication of an openness to this, so it can't be, certainly. On the second day, he has the nerve to interrupt and correct me a couple times. Not only is this inappropriate, but his comments were so cringeworthy that even the youngsters had to giggle. After my class, I go to see the Grand Elder to have Salas removed from these inspections. Surprisingly, it wasn't even official that Salas was conducting these inspections, or not surprising at all. At that thought, a nervous giggle escapes me. I move my legs a bit, uncrossing them to soak up more of the warming rays of the sun. These classes are not about sex education. That has long since happened during the regular educational curriculum. It is a refresher, though. This year is no exception. There are more females than males. I nod at the couple folks entering the house to get their check-in. These classes focus on the first time, on what is acceptable behavior. It's about managing expectations. After all, it's unlikely the first few times will be as perfect, as gratifying as it will become eventually. These classes are about taking care of the other, getting to know oneself and how the partner responds. It is a different form of conversation happening, one that needs to be practiced and learned, so knowledge of the vocabulary won't suffice. After all, there are at least two involved, and there are multiple ways to enjoy, to feel fulfilled, to reach climax, not only one single one. A group of perhaps 8 or 9-year-old youngsters passes across the square at the other end, trying to be inconspicuous. You're right, some prank being played there on someone, or a dare. The single most important outcome from this class is something the youngsters don't realize. breaking down barriers, creating trust and an environment that allows them to ask or just talk to one of the older generations. We are here. We've paid our dues. Don't be shy. Just ask. Over the next few days, the reservations and inhibitions fall bit by bit. The part I did not expect, but probably should have foreseen as a possibility, is the inquiries into my own experiences, how it was for me in the beginning, and how long it took to thoroughly enjoy. The most surprising question came from Xavie, asking if I'm finished with experimenting and discovering. For some reason, and only for a flicker of a moment, I hoped he was asking because he is interested in me. I shut this thought down immediately. He is my student, even if there is something about him that I can't figure out yet. Now that is a question that is not simply answered. The answer is as applicable to your sexuality as it is to your life in general. It is up to you when to stop experimenting, to stop developing and growing. It is not prescribed externally. It is up to you. As long as all participating consent, any experimentation, experience, or practice is acceptable. It is you and only you who sets the limits. And there is exactly one person that can answer this question for you. You yourself. It is nobody else's business. As for me personally, no, I'm not done experimenting and exploring. I lock eyes with Xavie for the last sentence. Why was I behaving like this? What is it? Even now, thinking back, I furrow my brows, unsure. As if on cue, Yellna enters the town square and takes aim at this house. I observe her approach and am reminded it takes someone special to raise a youngster like Xavie. I bet there is an interesting story to be heard. I think the wait is pretty short at the moment. You picked a good time to get your health check in. I greet her. Nah, I will not partake this time. It's Xavie's induction. I don't want to make it potentially awkward for him. I'm also not in the right mood to enjoy it fully. Nope, I'm here to sign up for the postmaster test. It is time for me to get back to contributing to society. Evanor is 14, Xavie is an inductee. It is time. Postmaster. Interesting. I wish you the best of success. Go figure. Looks like Yellna found a way to make her old wish of traveling into a profession. But I wonder if there is more to it. Thank you, she continues into the building. My thoughts return to my class of inductees. Will I be participating in the fire festival? This question came up several times, in class, in private conversations. And my answer is always the same. I will be present, but I won't be actively participating. I'm there for you, same as in these classes. Not long after, all my inductees are cleared. Fire Festival, 30th April, 21, 5th epoch. The day of the Fire Festival brims with the nervous energy of anticipation. It does so every year. Somehow, though, it's a bit different this year. For my inductees, certainly, but also for me. Being this year's induction class instructor, I am mostly relieved of other obligations. My concerns are the youngsters, the inductees. There are already a few pairs that have formed during the classes who will celebrate together. There are 2 males and 2 females I suspect will be approaching me, even though I made it clear I'm not going to partake. Repeatedly. For the rest, we will have to wait and see. Yep, as expected, nearly half the inductees are getting busy with each other. The 4 I suspected approached me, and I suggested they consider each other. Then they surprised me by leaving as a quartet. Well done, did not see that coming. The others pair up one by one. Like every year, there are older community members interested in being the induction partner of a youngster. It does not take long for all my charges to be partnered up. Another surprise was Xavie. He neither chose another inductee, nor did he accept any of the several advances of the older tribe members. No, he selected a slightly older female, perhaps 2 or 3 years older. And why is it that I find this gratifying, albeit with a hint of jealousy? Why am I paying more attention to what Xavie does than any of the others? I'm not sure why it is him that I find most interesting of the year. He's one of the quieter ones, one of the most reserved. Sure, there's an interesting story behind him. Nearly everybody knows at least the basics, and we elders know more. He's one of the most mature ones, having looked out for Evanor and taken that very seriously. And he has a way about him that makes him look at everything in a more serious, more mature way. He could easily pass for a couple years older than he is. Pretty quickly it becomes apparent the experiences are much faster and less exhilarating than what they all hoped for. But being young, new pairings form, or the same pairings remain, and they go for second, third, or even more experiences. There is something to be said for the carelessness and energy of that age. The ones paired with the older tribe members stay for extended periods. I take it these get a more thorough induction, which may be skewed towards the preferences of their partners. This can be a good thing, or it can be detrimental to a degree. Xavie, as one of the very few who chose slightly older partners, takes his time, and once he reappears, he keeps with this pattern. It appears his partners are content. I take it he listened and focuses not exclusively on his own release. Good. He explores, experiments, and takes care of his partner. Nothing unsettling takes place at a festival. The day after the fire festival is our final class. Everyone is content. There are no regrets and no unpleasantries to mention. Of course, these would not need to be mentioned in the class in the open, but in a private setting if anyone wishes. The final note is that I'm always there should any of them wish for a conversation. There are a couple private conversations. Most are to be expected. The experiences were not as satisfying as they'd hoped for. My suggestion in these cases is to communicate clearly to the partner that additional stimulation is desired, or to self-stimulate, whichever is more fitting, and to cherish the partners that deliver this additional stimulation and attention without being asked. Other conversations are about painful moments. In these cases, I suggest allowing for a slower pace, to take more time. Those who feel like they didn't last long enough, I tell that, with time, this will change, and that the second or third time will be slower. I also tell them to take care of their partner beforehand, so their quick release does not mean no release for their partner. It is pretty common in the weeks after the fire festival for the inductees to continue their experimentation in all kinds of manners, at all times and with steady or changing partners. Shamainians are not an inhibited tribe, but the weeks after the fire festival are something else, every year. Summer Solstice Festival, 21st June, 21:50 epoch. The day before summer solstice, I run into Xavie in the town square. He startles, but then asks if I have a moment. I reply in the affirmative, and we casually walk over to the gardens in front of the house of birth and departures. We look for a quiet spot and sit on a bench. I notice Xavie's hesitation, but it's not due to him being uncomfortable with the topic. No. He's composing his thoughts and formulating his questions. So I wait, allowing him his own pace. I'm not sure if I will be able to convey what I mean accurately, he starts, and I don't want to appear ungrateful or disrespectful. At this point, I start to wonder where this is going and how deep this will go. I let him lead, do not react or interrupt. I've enjoyed every single one of my encounters and do not wish to cast any doubt on any of my partners. My question is about me, how I experience it. He keeps clarifying carefully. These encounters are satisfying for the moment on a shallow level, but they leave behind a hollowness, like something is missing, as if a deeper-rooted yearning is not satisfied. He runs his hands through his hair. I don't know how to describe it, what words to use. He shrugs. I look at him, really look at him now. I see someone being acutely aware of themselves, their interaction with the world that surrounds them, how it affects them. Someone extraordinarily disciplined with their body, very intentional. Someone exceedingly mature. The one thing I do not see is his age. It does not fit. It feels like something is missing that touches the emotional, he continues, looking at his hands on his knees. I feel like there should be something soothing, something calming, something that centers one around this connection, something that quiets. He is getting quieter. I look at him and have to remind myself to close my mouth. How is it possible someone this young has this kind of awareness, this kind of maturity? I need to vastly correct my earlier assessment of him being a couple years more mature. It's more like a decade. I swallow. Whatever I expected, I was not prepared for this. It did not even cross my mind as a possibility. He looks at me with those indigo eyes. They are now a shade darker than usual and have a silver ring burning at the edge. I fix his gaze. I want him to believe me. I don't think you need to be concerned about disrespecting anybody, I answer him. From how you describe these encounters, it's clear you value and honor them. What you describe, what you think is missing, you would find to a degree with a partner you have a deep emotional connection with. This is as far as my experience goes, I clarify. If you should be so lucky as to find a mate or even a bonded mate, this becomes a far different story. Now, this is only what I learned in Elder College. I have not experienced it myself. There is nothing as deeply gratifying, as deeply touching to your very essence, your core, as the union with a bonded mate. It makes the edges, the distinction between the two, melt. He looks at me, never breaking eye contact. I don't know, is he looking into me, looking for the truth in what I told him? I feel seen by him, and I feel I've never truly seen him. After a moment, it might have been a minute or 2 or 5 or 10 seconds, I don't know, he says, now I start to understand why Eris was so fixated on finding a mate. I ask about Eris. I know part of the story, having heard about it after I returned from Elder College and my roaming Elder years. He retells Eris' story, touches on the rift between Yellna and Eris and how they mended it only to lose it all. He tells about how this influenced his life, made him an older brother and gave him a responsibility. Now this is all making more sense, and I can see where his character is coming from. How's Yellna? I ask him, for no other reason than staying a bit longer with him. She passed the postmaster test and has become a regional deputy postmaster. It's good for her to do her own thing, and I guess it's time for her. He pauses, like this is not all. But, I prompt. He sighs. But it means she'll be away every other day. I don't think this should be an issue, but I'm not certain. We have never had her gone on a regular basis, Xavie explains. Ah, that makes sense. Xavie thinks things through, plans ahead, needs to know what will happen and stay in control. And here is a big unknown. Xavie, if you are ever no need, I'm here for you. Use me as a resource, I offer. Naturally, they don't. Xavie figures it out by himself. No surprise there either. Over the next few months, and especially at the festivals, I observe Xavie gaining more experience and confidence. I also catch myself paying a lot of attention to what Xavie does or does not do. For a time, he and a female appear to be more steady partners, both at the festivals and every day between. The rest of this year's inductees all are collecting their experiences at their own pace and in their own way. I'm happy with this outcome. Everybody needs to find their individual way. Everyone's path is different. That my inductees follow their path and don't try to compare, to be the same, to compete, is success in my books. Like at the Summer Solstice Festival, I make myself available as a resource to my inductees during the Lunasa Festival and the Harvest Festival. But nobody takes me up on the offer, although a couple daring ones invite me to join them. That is not the kind of making myself available I had in mind. Come the Darkmoon Festival, I enjoy it myself. And that brings us to the end of this reading. It sure sounds like they take the induction serious in this tribe. Put it below in the comments if you would welcome this kind of induction. If you want to explore more of this world, don't forget to subscribe to my newsletter, the Boreas Brief, at the link in the description. It's where I share all my secret projects and early updates first. Next time, in part 11, we'll see what experiences and adventures come next for Xavie or Yellna. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss it, or click the playlist right here to catch up on any episodes you've missed. Peace.